Hello viewers, yes, this is Ranjana Ma'am and you are watching, yes, it's yours as well as my channel. Yes, so today you've seen the thumbnail, you know that I'm going to teach Julius Caesar Act 1 Scene 2. Yeah, it's been a long time since I have come up with Julius Caesar Act 1 Scene 1 and the summary was way back, quite I think a gap of a month the other. So yes, here I am back again. Yes, but before we start, you know what's coming. If you have not subscribed to my channel up till now, please do. You want me to get my gold button, na? The silver button is there and I'm sure you will help me. I'm not so optimistic, but there is no harm giving it a try. So please do subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and if you have liked it, I'm sure you like it. If you like it, don't forget to press the like button. So what are we waiting for? Let's start. Yeah, so let's start Act 1 Scene 2. Act 1 Scene 2 being a very lengthy scene, I won't do it in one lecture because you all also must be getting bored. If I try to complete it in one lecture, yes, you will get surely bored. So that is why I plan to do it in parts. I think it might go for 2 to 3 parts. If not 3, but 2 surely. But I would like to space it well, so that you don't lose the interest. And Act 1 Scene 2, here we come to see Julius Caesar, or rather read about him. We find him present in front of us, in front of the audience. It is here that Julius Caesar makes his appearance before the audience, and along with him is his wife Calpurnia, Caesar's right hand Mark Antony, and several Roman senators and all. Brutus is also there, Cassius is there, and Caesar and his attendants, followers, they are heading towards the venue where the feast of Lupercal will be celebrated. So today is 16th of February. And on his way, he advises Mark Antony to touch Calpurnia while he is running. So what happens during the festival of Lupercal? Those who are interested in games and sports, they start a holy run from the capital towards the venue of the festival, and on their way, since it is a divine run, it is a holy run, on their way it is said that if they touch a barren woman, that woman gets rid of her curse of being barren, so she doesn't remain barren anymore. These are all superstitions, they believed in that. So Caesar's wife Calpurnia has no children. So Caesar instructs Mark Antony not to forget to touch her. That means Mark Antony, don't forget to touch Calpurnia, and he tells Calpurnia also that you stand in the way of Mark Antony so that he doesn't miss touching you. And after that, there is a soothsayer who warns Caesar to be aware of the Ides of March. Ides of March means 15th of March. So Caesar doesn't pay much attention to his words and he heads towards the capital, and once they go, we find 2 Roman senators, Brutus and Cassius. Brutus is not very interested in games and sports, so he doesn't follow them, and Cassius wants to talk to Brutus, that is why he stays back. Brutus and Cassius, they are related. Cassius is Brutus's brother-in-law, and he is a conspirator. He is rather the main conspirator who plans the assassination of Julius Caesar. He is jealous of Julius Caesar's growing popularity and as such wants to assassinate him with the help of several Roman senators who are also averse to Julius Caesar and his rising popularity, who are of the same frame of mind. So he feels that if I convince Brutus to join us, see, Brutus is not like them. Brutus is a noble Roman, he is very patriotic, and if he feels anything comes in the way of the Roman people, he is ready to fight against it. He is a great lover of his country and his countrymen. So Cassius is a very clever schemer. He feels that if I can brainwash Brutus into believing that Caesar is harmful for Rome, Brutus will surely join us. And then why does he need Brutus? Because Brutus is the only one who can match Caesar's popularity. He is known all over Rome as the best, as the greatest patriot. So Cassius feels that if I can win over Brutus to our side, we will be acceptable to the people once we kill Caesar. So though the plan is his, he doesn't want to remain in the forefront. He wants to put Brutus in front so that people believe that Caesar was harmful for Rome and that is why they did away with him. And then Caesar, while returning, seems to be very angry. So after Caesar leaves, and Caesar also shows his suspicions for Cassius. Why? Because he feels that people who are thin, they think a lot, and these people are always dangerous. After they leave, Brutus calls Casca, one of young Roman, aside and asks what had happened that made Caesar look so angry. So Casca gives an account of what happened at the festival of Lupercal, and then he leaves. Cassius also leaves, and Brutus tells that, yes, Cassius, I understand you want to tell me something, but this is not the right place to tell. So if you really want to tell me something, you come to my house or I go to your house and then we can discuss it. The road is not the fit place. So this is in summary Act 1 Scene 2. Now we will proceed to it line wise, and I told you it wouldn't be in one lecture, one video, because that would make it too lengthy and also boring for you. So who are the people we find on stage? See, enter Caesar, Mark, Caesar, Antony for the course. Antony is ready to run the race, that is why for the course. Calpurnia is Caesar's wife. And then we have Portia. Who's Portia? It is not the Portia of Merchant of Venice. She is Brutus's wife, Portia. And then Decius is another Brutus. He is a young fellow, Decius Brutus. Cicero is a noted Roman senator. Then there is Brutus and Cassius, I just now told. And Casca, he is a young Roman. And a great crowd following them. Yes, I told you Caesar, in Act 1 Scene 1 only you got to know of his popularity. Caesar had become very popular in Rome. His rise was meteoric, and that is what made Cassius jealous. Cassius doesn't want to believe in the fact that Caesar is something superhuman. The public, they are projecting him as a superhuman, a sort of demigod. But Cassius tries to show the faults of Caesar and say that he is nothing more than just an ordinary human being like us. Only he has been elevated to a higher level by these common crowd. Caesar. Calpurnia, so he is calling out to his wife. Casca, peace, hope, Caesar speaks. At this moment we find Casca as a very devoted to Caesar, very loyal. Oh, Caesar is speaking, all of you keep silent. Caesar. Calpurnia, hear my lord. So the music stops. Maybe on account of the music Calpurnia could not hear Caesar calling out to her. So he calls again, and then Calpurnia answers. Caesar, stand you directly in Antonius's way. Caesar never calls Mark Antony by this name. He calls him Antonius. So you stand straight in the way of Antony when he doth run his course. So as he runs the divine race or the holy race, stand in his way. Then he calls out to Antony, Antonius, Antony, Caesar my lord. Just see how loyal and devoted Antony is towards Caesar. Caesar, forget not in your speed, Antonius, to touch Calpurnia. So while you are running the race, don't forget to touch Calpurnia. Why? There was a sort of belief in those days in Rome. What? For our elders say the barren touched in the holy chase shake off their sterile curse. So their elders were supposed to have the experience of the world on their back, and as such they were supposed to be wise men. So the elderly wise people believe that a barren woman can give birth to children if she is touched by the runners in the holy case, in the holy course rather. So when they run the race during the feast of Lupercal, on their way, if they touch a barren woman, her curse of barrenness will be shaken off. She won't remain barren anymore. Antony, I shall remember when Caesar says do this, it is performed. He seems as if to be a yes man of Caesar. Caesar just has to order that perform this and it will be done. Caesar, set on, leave no ceremony out. So Caesar then orders everyone to continue with their walk towards the festival venue, and he says that no ceremony should be left out. At this moment someone calls out to Caesar. Who is he? A fortune teller, soothsayer. Caesar, ha, who calls? So yes, who's calling me? Casca, bid every noise be still. Peace yet again. So then Casca tells everyone to be silent, and he wants silence once again. Caesar had ordered the procession to continue, so as they were on the verge of continuing, someone calls out to Caesar. So Casca orders everyone to be silent. Caesar, who is it in the press that calls on me? I hear a tongue shriller than all the music cry, Caesar, speak. Caesar is turned to hear. So Caesar is asking the people that who is it among you all who cried out my name? So among the crowd there was someone who called out my name. Who is it? I have never heard such a sharp voice. It sounded much higher above the noise of the trumpets, the music which was played. So the voice of the soothsayer had scaled above the trumpets in calling out to Caesar. Speak, Caesar is turned to hear. So he is telling that whoever had called out my name, speak, I am listening to you. I have turned towards you to hear you speak. Soothsayer, beware the Ides of March, a very famous line in Julius Caesar, Ides of March, the 15th of March. So he warned Caesar regarding the 15th of March. What man is that? Caesar says. Caesar doesn't give much importance to this prediction or the prophecy. So what man is that? Brutus, a soothsayer, bids you beware the Ides of March. So he is a fortune teller and he is warning you against the 15th of March. He gives you a warning to be aware of the 15th of March. Set him before me, let me see his face. So bring him in front of me, I want to see his face. Cassius, fellow, come from the throng, look upon Caesar. So Cassius is telling the soothsayer to come in front. Why? Because Caesar wants to have a look at him, and he tells, face Caesar and speak. Caesar, what sayest thou to me now? Speak once again. So Caesar asks once the soothsayer has come face to face with Caesar, Caesar is asking him that yes, now you tell me what you want me to hear. Repeat what you said once again. Soothsayer, beware the Ides of March. So he repeats his prophecy. He is a dreamer. Let us leave him pass. So Caesar ridicules his warning and he says, oh, he is a dreamer. So let's not give any importance to his words. Let's proceed. So they all leave him. They all leave. Only two people are left on stage now, Brutus and Cassius. Cassius, will you go to see the order of the course? So Cassius, in order to start a conversation, he says that, do you wish to go to see how the ceremony is to be conducted? Not I. So Brutus has no inclination to go and watch the proceedings. Cassius, I pray you do. So he tells, I request you, why don't you go? Brutus, I am not gamesome. I do lack some of that quick spirit that is in Antony. Let me not hinder Cassius your desires, I leave you. So naturally, when Cassius insists, Brutus says, I am really not fond of games and sports in the same way as Mark Antony is. I am not, my nature is not very lively like Antony. So if you want to go, you go, let me not stop you from going. In that case, let me bid you goodbye. Now this gives Cassius an occasion to speak whatever he has in his mind. Brutus, I do observe you now of late. I have not from your eyes the gentleness and show of love as I was wont to have. You bear too stubborn and too strange a hand over your friend that loves you. So now Cassius in a complaining mood. So he says that, Brutus, I have been watching you in the recent times and I find that the look of gentleness and love which I was accustomed to see in your eyes, that is missing. That means I don't see that same love and friendliness in your eyes that you had for me. I don't see them now. I see them missing. You treat me in a very stubborn and unkind manner, in a very harsh manner. I am your friend, but you are treating me in a very harsh and unkind manner. Brutus has done nothing to be nothing harsh or rude towards Cassius. But Cassius is deliberately saying all this because he wants to say something to Brutus, and this is a way to open that particular conversation. Cassius, so what has Brutus to say in explanation? Cassius, be not deceived. So don't be deceived, Cassius. If I have veiled my look, I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself. Vexed I am, of late with passions of some difference, conceptions only proper to myself, which gives some soil perhaps to my behavior. So Brutus tries to assure that no, there is nothing wrong, don't be mistaken, Cassius, don't get me wrong. If I have not shown you the same love and affection as I used to show you in the past, it is not because I love you less, but because I am facing conflicting emotions in my mind and I am trying to handle them, and in doing that I fail to show the love which you are accustomed to have. That means, just see these lines, vexed I am of late with passions of some difference, conceptions only proper to myself. And these are very personal thoughts which are troubling me. There is as if a conflict going on in my mind. Naturally I am annoyed with these conflicting thoughts, but these are purely personal, and I don't my friends to be sad on this account. So this could be the reason why I fail to show the love which I have for you in my eyes. Why? Because I am bothered about something that is going on in my mind, and that stops me from showing the love which you were accustomed to have in the past. But let not therefore my good friends be grieved, among which number Cassius you be one, nor construe any further my neglect than that poor Brutus with himself at war forgets the shows of love to other men. So he says that but just because I am having some conflicting thoughts in my mind, I don't expect that my friends, and among my friends I consider you one of my closest friends, I don't want my friends to be sad. Yeah, Cassius, the way he complained as if he was sad that Brutus fails to show the love and affection as he used to in the past. So he says, you are one of my very close friends, very good friends, and I don't want you to be sad on account of that. And I don't want also to interpret that my neglect is on account of something else. My neglect towards you is, don't interpret that I am neglecting you because I don't love you. But this is the fact that Brutus is at war with himself at war. That means Brutus is being troubled by conflicting emotions. Maybe one part of his mind is telling him something and the other part of his mind is telling him just the opposite. So as if there is a civil war going on in his mind, and that is what prevents him from showing his love towards other men. So yes, if you are constantly, if your mind is constantly at war, then what will happen? You won't be able to show your feelings towards those who are standing in front of you, because your mind is at war and you are maybe trying to suppress that war that is going on in your mind. You are being troubled. Now Cassius needs only an opportunity to speak. So what does he say? Then Brutus, I have much mistook your passion, by means whereof this breast of mine hath buried thoughts of great value, worthy cogitations. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face? So I told you, na, he is here to brainwash Brutus, and he needs an opportunity to start that conversation. So he is telling, then I have judged you wrongly, Brutus. My feelings towards you are wrong. My judgment towards you is wrong. And because of this wrong idea, instead of sharing the thoughts which are in my mind, I have kept it within myself. I have kept my thoughts, very valuable thoughts, confined within myself instead of sharing it with you. Thoughts of great value, worthy cogitations. So very thoughtful ideas, very valuable ideas, which I would have shared with you in normal times, but misjudging you, interpreting your feelings wrongly, I have kept those thoughts hidden in my breast. So now he wants to share it. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face? So yes, Brutus, can you see your face? Can you see your face? Unless you see yourself in the mirror, can you see your face as you see your friend or your mother or your father? Can you see your face in that way? No. You can see your face only by reflection in a polished surface or in the mirror or in a transparent surface. You can see yourself. You can see yourself in water, reflection, your reflection, but not your face as you see the face of others. So Brutus also gives a similar answer. No, Cassius, for the eye sees not itself, but by reflection, by some other things. So Brutus naturally gives an honest answer, but Cassius is here with something else in his mind. So Brutus gives a straightforward answer that no, Cassius, I cannot see myself, because a man cannot see himself as he sees the face of others, because it is impossible for the eye to see itself. You see others through your eyes. So how can the eye see itself? So it can see itself only by reflection. Cassius, it is just, and it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eye, that you might see your shadow. I have heard where many of the best respect in Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke, have wished that noble Brutus had his eye. So now he tries slowly to make a trap for Brutus to fall into. Why? Because he needs the support of Brutus very much to carry out his evil plan. So what does he tell Brutus? That yes, Brutus, you are right. You are right when you say that the eye cannot see itself. The eye cannot see itself unless it is unless by reflection. So he says yes, and it is really sad that there is no one who can serve as a mirror for you so that you can see your own reflection. You cannot see your face, but there is no one in Rome who can serve as a mirror to show you your right worth. That means there is no one who can point out to you your right worth or your right value. So here it is not to see the face or the body. He is hinting that there is no one who is so worthy to show you your real value, your inner qualities. I have come to hear that many famous men of Rome, with the exception of Julius Caesar, the other famous Romans of Rome, they have talked and held you in high esteem. Not Caesar, but the other Romans, they have held you in high esteem, and they are also lamenting or groaning under the oppression of this age, and they wish that Brutus had his eyes, which would allow him to see and realize his own greatness, to meet the tyranny or oppression that is in Rome at that moment. So what is he trying to tell Brutus? Brutus, you are a great man. Summing up, you are a great man, but you don't know yourself. You don't know that yourself. You don't know how your inner qualities. I know there are many great men who know about it, but you are not aware of your own greatness. I have heard many famous Romans speaking very highly of you. Other than Caesar, with the exception of Caesar, many Romans speak very highly of you. They are suffering under the tyrannical age, and they wish that Brutus knew his own value to save them from this situation. So Brutus is not a fool to fall into the trap at this moment, at least. He is not a fool. So what does he say? Just see the next line. Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me? So Cassius, what is your dangerous plan to which you are trying to lead me? You are trying to make me search for something which is not in me. So he is not to be acquired by flattery. He is not to cow down before flattery. He feels that yes, Cassius is trying to flatter me and trying to make me believe something which is not in me. I am not so great as you are trying to show. You are telling great Romans, they have thought of me as with the exception of Caesar, they have held me in high esteem. They are suffering under the tyrannical age, and they wish that Brutus knew his worth. So what worth are you really talking of? I don't have the worth that you are trying to point out to me. So this is something dangerous. Are you trying to lead me in something very dangerous by trying me to search within myself something that is not in me? So the first attempt of Cassius fails. Brutus does not agree that he is very great or something. He doesn't know his own value. So Brutus doesn't agree to it. He is perfectly aware of what is his potential. So Cassius now, he is not a person to give up. So what does he say? Therefore, good Brutus, be prepared to hear. So Brutus had said, I don't have such worth or value as you are trying to hint. So Cassius says, if you don't know your worth, then listen to me at least. I know, other famous Romans know, and you don't know, it seems. So let me be your mirror so that through me you can get to know about your hidden qualities. Why do we go to the mirror? To have a look at ourselves. So he wants to be Brutus's mirror so that Brutus can judge himself in a impartial and proper manner. Mirror never tells you wrong. Mirror never is partial. Mirror is always impartial. So he says, let me be your mirror so that you can have a good idea of yourself. I want to show you the hidden qualities of which you are unaware. And since you know you cannot see yourself so well as by reflection, I, your glass, will modestly discover to yourself that of yourself which you yet know not of. So since you cannot see yourself, let me be your mirror. Let me show to you those qualities which you are not aware of. You don't know that you have these qualities, you are not aware of it. And then also something very clever. And be not jealous on me, gentle Brutus. By this he means be doubtful of me or suspicious of me. Brutus, don't be suspicious or doubtful. Were I a common laughter, or did use to stale with ordinary oaths my love to every new protester? If you know that I do fawn on men and hug them hard, and after scandal them, or if you know that I profess myself in banqueting to all the rout, then hold me dangerous. Brutus, don't consider me dangerous, don't doubt me. And why should you not doubt me? Because I am not a person to laugh and talk with anyone and everyone who comes my way. And not only that, I don't share jokes with everyone. I don't have the habit of becoming friends with whoever I meet and behind their backs talk bad of them. I am not that type of person. Had I been that type of person, you could have been jealous of me, means suspicious of me, or considered me dangerous. But I am not any of these. I don't flatter people on their face and speak ill behind their backs. I am not that type. And I don't claim my love to whoever I meet in a party or a feast. And yes, oh, you've come to the party, I'm so happy, and then embrace that person. I'm anyone and everyone, going on showing your love and embracing anyone and everyone who comes in your way. So I'm not that type of person. Had I been that type of person, you could have considered me dangerous. You could have been jealous of me. But I am none of these. So there is no reason that you should hold me dangerous. Had I been, you could have thought of me as dangerous. But since I am not, don't think so. Don't have your doubts. So there is a flourish of trumpet and the shouts are heard. So how does Brutus react to it? What means this shouting? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king. So the moment Brutus hears these shoutings, he feels that why are the people shouting? I am afraid they have chosen Julius Caesar as the king of Rome. A. Do you fear it? Then must I think you would not have it so? So Cassius says, oh, you say you are afraid of this fact that people have chosen Caesar the king. So does this mean that you would not want Caesar to be the king? Does this mean? I would not, Cassius, yes. I would not want Caesar to be the king, yet I love him well. So though I am very fond of Caesar, I love him well, yet I do not want him to be the king. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? But why are you holding me here so long? He wants to know. He understands that he wants, Cassius has some plans in his mind and he wants to tell that to me. What is it that you would impart to me? What is it that you wish to tell me? If it be aught toward the general good, if it is related to the general good of Rome, what you want to tell me, if it concerns public good, general good means the good of the public or the people of Rome, if it concerns that, set honor in one eye and death in the other. So in that case, if honor is in one eye and death is in the other, I am ready to look at in both in the same manner. That means if something concerns public good, then I am ready to look at death in an indifferent manner. In the same way as I would look at honor, I am ready to look at death in the same manner. I am not afraid of death. That means I would not be afraid of death for the good of Rome. For let the God so speed me, as I love the name of honor more than I fear death. So he wants that the God should help him because he loves honor more than he fears death. That means his fear of death is much less than is his love for honor. He would want to lead an honorable life in Rome, not under a tyranny or oppression. So what Cassius wants to tell him, if it is related to the general good of the general good or the good of the common people, he is ready to listen to it, because to him his love for honor is much more than his fear of death. So he is ready to look at both in the same indifferent manner. I know that virtue to be in you, Brutus. So Brutus, yes, I am aware of this quality in you. As well I do know your outward favor, in the same way as I know you by your outward appearance. I know of this quality also to be present in you. Well, honor is the subject of my story. Yes, what I want to say is also related to honor. I cannot tell what you and other men think of this life, but for my single self I had as lieve not be as live to be in awe of such a thing as I myself. So he is hinting at the sudden rise of Caesar. He says, I am not aware what you or others think of life, but rather regarding myself, I would rather not live than live in fear of a person who is just like me, who is nothing more than me, and why should I live in fear of that person? Rather, living in fear of that person, I would prefer to die. I would rather die than live in fear of such a person. I was born free as Caesar, so were you. Yes, so we all three, we were born free. I was born free, you were born free, Caesar was born free. So what is so special about him? We were not born slaves, neither you nor I. We were born in the same free manner as Caesar was. We both have fed as well, and we can both endure the winter's cold as well as he. So through this he is trying to point out to Brutus that there is nothing different. Caesar is nothing different from us. He is just like you and me. The food that he has eaten, even we have eaten the same food. You and I, both of us, can endure the winter's cold or the summer's heat in the same manner as he can endure it, as he can bear it. For once, and now he is giving an example from his own life to prove that Caesar is not superior to them. He is just like them. But the public has elevated him to a very high pedestal. But he is not that. He is just a common man like Brutus and Cassius. And how does he prove it? Just see, he gives an example. For once, upon a raw and gusty day, the troubled Tiber chafing with her shores. So what happened on a stormy day? On a bad weather day, on a stormy day, when the waves of the river Tiber, they were very unruly. What happened? So the waves of the river Tiber, they were coming and lashing on the shore. So a very unruly sea, unruly river. So what happened during that time? Caesar said to me. So Caesar called out to Cassius and challenged him. Darst thou, Cassius, now leap in with me into this angry flood and swim to yonder point? So Caesar challenged Cassius. He told Cassius, can you at this moment jump into the waters of the Tiber along with me and swim to that particular point? So the moment Caesar said this, Cassius did not take any time even to remove his dress. He was fully dressed, and in that way only he jumped into the waters of the river Tiber and told Caesar, you come behind me, you follow me. So through this, what is Cassius trying to tell? That he is equally brave. Caesar had challenged him and he had accepted the challenge immediately without any second thought, fully dressed. And while on such a bad weather day, when the stormy winds are blowing and the waters of the river are lashing on the shore, that means a dangerous Tiber. And he did not think twice, did not take any time to remove his clothes. Why? Because when you are swimming with your full clothes on, and that too on such a stormy day, you are at a disadvantage. You might get drowned. But no, to him his honor is much more. So he doesn't think twice and immediately jumps into the river waters. Upon the word, accoutred as I was, so the moment he heard the word from Caesar, fully dressed as he was, I plunged in, he jumped into the waters and bade him follow and ordered him to follow me. I told him, follow me. So he was the one who jumped first. Caesar had told, do you dare to follow me to yonder, do you dare to swim to that point along with me? But he tells Caesar not to be along, rather he proceeds and tells Caesar, you follow me. The torrent roared, and we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside and stemming it with hearts of controversy. So what happened? The current of the water was very powerful, and they had to push back the water with their strong hands, lusty sinews, powerful muscles. So with their strong arms, trying to resist the waters which rushed towards them. So what did they do? They beat back the water with their strong arms and proceeded towards the destination with all their courage. And then what happened? Suddenly, but ere we could arrive the point proposed, Caesar cried, help me, Cassius, or I sink. But before they could reach the point proposed by Caesar, Caesar had proposed, let's swim to that point. But before they reach that point, something happens. What? Caesar cries out to Cassius for help. What does he say? Caesar cried, help me, Cassius, or I sink. Caesar cries out to Cassius to help him. Why? Otherwise he would sink, he would get drowned. So what did Cassius do then? I, as Aeneas, our great ancestor, did from the flames of Troy upon his shoulder the old Anchises bear, so from the waves of Tiber did I the tired Caesar. So what happened? In the same way as the founder of Rome, Aeneas. Aeneas did not belong to Rome. He was from Troy. You must have heard the name of Troy. The Trojan War fought between the Greeks and the people of Troy. The people of Troy were forced to fight. Why? Because the Greeks had surrounded the city of Troy and had challenged them. Because the prince of Troy, Paris, had gone to Greece and run away with the wife of Menelaus, one of the Greek kings. His wife was supposed to be the most beautiful woman of her time, Helen. People wrongly say Helen of Troy, but Helen did not really belong to Troy. She was a Greek queen, wife of the king Menelaus. So Paris went and proposed to her, and she was fed up with her husband's wars, continuous wars and all that. So when she saw this handsome Paris propose to her, she very readily agreed and eloped with him. When Menelaus returned and he came to know of all this, what did he do? He gathered a heavy army with all the other Greek kings and went and surrounded Troy on all sides, laid a siege on Troy. So they waited for the Trojan people to come out and fight and accept defeat. But what the people of Troy would do, they would come out, fight, and the moment they were at a disadvantage, they would run inside and lock the gates of Troy. The fort of Troy was invincible. So 9 years passed in this way, and then what happened? The Greek soldiers became restless. They wanted to go back home. So they hit upon a clever plan. They built a wooden horse, and inside the horse 4 to 5 of the best Greek warriors, including King Menelaus, got inside. And then they tricked the people of Troy into believing that the Greeks have left, and whoever wants a victory in the war should take the horse inside their city. So they took the horse, unaware of the fact that 5 Greek warriors were there. And then they took the horse inside, and that was a night of feasting. After 9 years, the Greeks have gone away. And one young Greek, he was also there to, actually it was his plan that someone should tell the people of Troy to take the horse inside. So he had volunteered to do this job. And then he was also inside Troy, and when the people of Troy fell asleep after such merrymaking and feasting, then this fellow went, he signaled to the Greek soldiers who were waiting in the distance in another island to come. He opened the gates of Troy, gates of the fort of Troy. He brought out the warriors from inside the horse, and the Greek army entered in the dead of the night and started attacking and killing all the people of Troy, setting fire to their houses. So this is how Troy was completely devastated. And Aeneas was a famous Trojan warrior, but he knew that there is no way. So what did he do? He carried his aged father Anchises on his back and ran away from burning Troy. And then later he was the founder of the Roman Empire. So in the same way as Aeneas had carried his aged father on his back to save him from the flames which had engulfed Troy, flames of fire which had engulfed Troy, and run away to safety, in the same way Cassius tells he carried Caesar on his back towards the shore to safety. So he is a hero, not Caesar. This is what he is trying to show. And this man is now become a god, and Cassius a wretched creature, and must bend his body if Caesar carelessly but nod on him. So this is what agitates Cassius the most. I saved his life and now he has become like a god. and I am a wretched creature, I am a miserable creature, and I should bend in front of him. If he nods at me, I should bend my head in front of him. I should show my subject, that I am a loyal subject to him if he nods at me. He had a fever when he was in Spain, and when the fit was on him, I did mark how he did shake. So Caesar had some physical problems, like he suffered from epilepsy, and it is because of this epilepsy he had cried out for Cassius's help. In this type of illness, epilepsy, you suddenly lose consciousness and mouth starts frothing. So Caesar had this illness, and these people are advised not to go near fire or water because you may suddenly lose your consciousness. So Caesar, that is why Caesar had cried out to Cassius for help, because he would have been drowned otherwise. So Cassius says, I saved this man and now he has become a god, and I am a miserable creature, and I should bow before him when he carelessly looks at me in an indifferent manner. That means Caesar has forgotten that I had saved his life, and he is such a weak fellow. So how he proves that once when they were in Spain, maybe due to an trying to conquer some country or the other, and then Caesar was suffering from fever, and he trembled when the attack of the fever was on. He trembled on account of his illness. It is true, this god did shake. Yes, he is referred to as a god, but he was trembling on account of fever. His covered lips did from their color fly. That means his covered lips. Why is the lip referred to as covered? Because his lips had become pale or white. It had lost the reddish color. And that same eye whose bend doth awe the world, that eye, the look of which, that means if Caesar looks at someone with these eyes, the people are afraid. That eye, how did those eyes behave in that time when Caesar was suffering from fever? Did lose his lustre, so the eyes had lost the brightness. That eye with which he looks at people now, and people are trembling, people are afraid. But when at that time he was suffering from fever, the eyes had lost the brightness, the lips had lost color, and he was shaking like a little girl. I did hear him groan. Ay, and that tongue of his that bade Romans mark him and write his speeches in their books. Alas, it cried, give me some drink, Titinius, as a sick girl. Yea, gods, it doth amaze me, a man of such a feeble temper should get the start of this majestic world and bear the palm alone. So this is his grievance, that Caesar is nothing more powerful than you or me, but he has risen to such heights. He doesn't deserve it. So this man has become a god, where I had heard him groan, cry out in pain. And with this voice with which he commands the Romans to take down his speech, that speech had lost its sound only, and he spoke as if like a sick girl to Titinius to give him give him some water. So Cassius says that he is really amazed, he is really surprised, he is taken aback by the fact that such a weak man would get such advantage over all the Roman Empire, and he should carry the glory of the Roman alone in public of matters. Yes, so at this moment there is only one person who is considered a hero by the Roman people, that is Caesar. So Cassius feels that we all, if he has brought glory to Rome, we are all a part of it. We have all, he has not alone fought the war, we all have fought along with him, but he takes all the glory himself. And isn't it strange that a man of such a weak temperament, that he should take the glory, he should he should take all the glory himself without sharing with the others also who have equally contributed to the glory of Rome. Just 1 minute.